Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're tearing down a totally brilliant, mathematically proven way to get yourself off the debt treadmill. And honestly, the absolute best part about this, we're going to look at how to do this without necessarily needing to go out and get a massive raise or work 3 jobs. It's really all about using the money you already have, just with laser precision.
Here is our quick roadmap for today. We're going to cover the debt avalanche explained, visualizing the math, why this strategy works, 5 steps to start, avalanche versus snowball, and then we'll wrap up with one crucial debt warning.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, the debt avalanche explained, attacking the most expensive debt first.
You know that awful feeling of just being stuck? Like, if you have credit cards or student loans, it is so incredibly common to make your payments every single month and feel like you're barely making a dent. You look at the balance and think, man, the only way out is if I suddenly strike it rich. But actually, scratch that. What if it's just a matter of strategy? What if paying off debt faster wasn't about making more money, but just using the money you already have more strategically?
Well, that brings us right to our definition. The debt avalanche method is a system where you make the minimum payment on all of your debts while putting every single extra dollar toward the debt with the highest interest rate. Once that specific debt is completely wiped out, you take all that money you were putting toward it and immediately redirect it to the debt with the next highest interest rate. The whole point here is that you attack the most expensive debt first. You're literally neutralizing its ability to compound against you. You just repeat that loop until you're completely debt-free.
Moving on to Section 2, visualizing the math, the 5K, 7K, 10K breakdown. We're going to use a few infographics here because seeing the math visually is a total game changer. Okay, look at this breakdown right here. This is a super common scenario. You've got 3 debts. Debt 1 is a credit card, $5,000 balance at a 25% interest rate. Debt 2, a personal loan, $7,000 at 12%, and debt 3 is a student loan, $10,000 at 6%. Now, human instinct, it's probably screaming at you to attack that $5,000 credit card simply because it's the smallest balance. It feels way easier to knock out, right? But to really grasp the avalanche method, we have to look closer at the true cost.
25%. Honestly, that staggering APR is the real villain here. When we say expensive debt, we don't mean the big $10,000 total balance. We mean the interest rate. This tiny little percentage is what's quietly eating away at your finances month after month. High-interest debt grows so fast. If you only pay the minimums on a 25% rate, a massive chunk of your hard-earned cash goes straight to the bank as interest, instead of actually bringing down your balance.
Just look at this bar chart for a second. It brilliantly illustrates exactly why the debt avalanche forces us to target the credit card first. That 25% rate towers over the personal loan, and it completely dwarfs the student loan. It is costing you the most money by a massive margin. You literally have to train yourself to ignore the total balance amount and strictly follow the highest rate. Top rate first, regardless of the balance size.
Now let's put this into a monthly budget perspective with this donut chart. Your money is split into slices. You've got your regular living expenses and the minimum debt payments you absolutely have to make to stay current. But then you have that extra money slice. This might be $20 from cutting a streaming service, packing your lunch, or working a weekend side hustle. The avalanche method dictates that you laser focus that entire extra money slice directly at the 25% debt to vaporize it as fast as possible.
Let's hit Section 3, why this strategy works, which is all about giving every dollar a job.
I love this analogy. Think of your finances as a house. If your financial house has a bunch of leaks, you don't want to randomly patch them, just sort of sprinkling a few extra dollars here and there across 5 different debts. When you do that, the impact is basically zero. Instead, the debt avalanche gives every single extra dollar a specific, high-impact job. You are actively plugging the biggest, most expensive leak in your house first. Mathematically, this guarantees you pay the absolute minimum amount of interest over the life of your debts.
All right, Section 4, 5 steps to start. This is your action plan.
Getting started is actually super straightforward. Here are your 5 steps. Step 1, make a complete list of your debts. Step 2, sort them strictly from highest interest rate to lowest. Step 3, keep making those minimum payments on everything. Step 4, throw all your available extra cash toward the one at the very top of the list. And Step 5, listen, this is the most critical part. When that first debt is finally gone, do not absorb that freed up money back into your lifestyle. Roll that entire payment amount directly into the next debt on your list. This builds incredible momentum, but it's momentum based purely on the math of interest rates.
Next up, Section 5, avalanche versus snowball. Time to choose your strategy. we definitely have to talk about the big debate: avalanche versus snowball. As we've seen, the debt avalanche pays the highest interest first. It is meticulously engineered to minimize total interest costs. The debt snowball, on the flip side, ignores the interest rate entirely and just pays off the smallest total balance first. Now, why on earth would anyone do that? Because it gives you quick psychological wins. It feels so good to cross a debt off your list fast, and that little dopamine hit can keep you motivated. So which is better? Well, if you want to mathematically save the most money, the avalanche is your tool, no question. But if staying motivated is your biggest hurdle and you desperately need a quick victory to stay on track, the snowball might actually be the way to go. Ultimately, the best strategy is literally just the one you can stick with.
Let's move to Section 6, one crucial debt warning. I call this the treadmill effect.
Okay, this is the crucial warning, and it's an absolute deal breaker. You have to stop adding new high-interest debt while you are trying to pay off your current balances. Imagine working incredibly hard to pay off $500 on your credit card every month, but you're simultaneously charging another $500 in new purchases. You just can't do it. It puts you on a financial treadmill that literally never ends. To protect yourself from life's little surprises like a random medical bill or your car breaking down that might force you back to the plastic, you need to build a starter emergency fund. That small cash buffer acts as a shield, making sure your debt avalanche doesn't get totally derailed.
Look, escaping debt doesn't happen overnight, and you definitely don't need to eliminate everything on day one to be successful. You just start with one debt. Attack that highest interest debt with every extra dollar you can reasonably find while paying the minimums on the rest. And remember, roll those payments over once the first one is gone. By sticking to this with daily discipline, rolling over your payments one balance at a time, your debt is going to shrink while your financial freedom rapidly expands.
So, I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought. Are you ready to step off the debt treadmill and start strategically building your financial freedom? Remember, you don't need a magic wand or a massive salary bump to get out of debt. You just need a clear, mathematically sound strategy, like the diagrams we walked through today with the debt avalanche, and the discipline to actually follow it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for this explainer. Go take control of your financial house.